today has been a little choppy. I'm not getting any video from me.
Yeah, it looks like it's recording now, so I think we're ready to present. Mrs. Henry is going to begin her presentation in a moment. It looks like she has one screen open, so we'll just give her a moment so she can share her presentation. There she goes. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Our third grade team want to thank everybody for taking time out of their very, very busy schedules and joining us tonight. I'd like to start by introducing our team. Mrs. Wall is the woman who just spoke, third grade teacher. Myself, Ms. McDowell, Ms. Morin is here. She's also a third grade teacher. We have both dual language teachers here, Mrs. Henry and Mrs. Vargas. And we have Mrs. Pratt, who teaches technology. And we have Mrs. Sergel, who is our special education teacher. So we are all here on the call tonight. And as Mrs. Wall pointed out, if you could try to stay muted during the call, especially because it's being recorded. And if you have any questions, please feel free to add them to the chat box. We will be monitoring the chat box, and anything that we don't address during the call, we will certainly address it at the end, where there'll be plenty of time for questions at the end. So you can see our little bit emojis. This is our team. And now we're going to play a video from our principal, Mrs. Wilson, and our vice principal, Caitlin Jacobs. And the video is going to show a representation of what a classroom looks like, what synchronous learning looks like, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that after the video. So if you can just listen in and see what this, I believe it's Mrs. Payne in the video, and she's going to show you what a typical classroom looks like right now. Oops.
I'm not sure if anyone can hear, but I cannot hear the video.
I cannot hear either.
Okay.
So maybe Mrs. Henry will start that again and see.
Let me try presenting from my Chromebook is not really working very well. So let me try to present from my Chromebook and see if I can stay connected.
I'll take my speakers to you.
Let's see. Let's try it this way.
Where's your desktop connection?
Thank you for your patience as we work through this little technical difficulty.
For those of you who just joined us, we're just having a little bit of difficulty getting sound into this. So Mrs. Henry is working on this to try to figure out why we're not getting a sound attached to this video.
Miss McDowell, this is Mrs. Wilson. If this is the video of Mrs. Jacobs and I,
yes,
bypass it. Just bypass it.
Okay.
Move it along. They don't need to see my face. We're good. It's just
Okay.
so everyone know that it's all about synchronous learning.
Okay. So as I said before, with the video that we were going to show you, and hopefully when we're able to post this video at a later time, you'll be able to have a chance to look at what synchronous learning looks like in the classroom. But just, to give you some background information, students in class and remote students are seeing the same lesson at the same time. So the teacher is working with both sets of students at the same time. And all students are completing the same work, whether it's at home online or whether it's in person. At the moment, where the students in class are now being able to engage in more online materials because we now have computers, a selection of computers for the classrooms, and that will even increase over the next few weeks. All students are expected to be present, participate, and complete the assignments, whether it's at home or in person. Students at home are getting their assignments from Google Classroom. Now, Mrs. Morin is going to talk a little bit more about attendance.
Okay, I can't see the screen on here.
I believe that Mrs. Henry lost connection again, so she'll probably quickly try to join back and present her screen again.
Okay, thank you.
That's what happened.
So as you can see here, this is the daily schedule for it's the dual schedule and also our regular schedule. And all the yellow highlighted areas indicate that that's when the students should be online and they should be participating in their groups, in their lessons online. So right here, this is where you get all your information on the schedule. Okay, you can go to the next one, Shauna. Okay, also attendance. Attendance is taken every day. It's very important for students to progress. Students' attendance is taken each morning during morning meeting. Students are marked late if they arrive after 8:30 a.m. Remote attendance is also taken at the end of the day. Students are expected to attend all lessons that are highlighted on the schedule and will actually engage in the lessons with the cameras on. Please let your child's teacher know if your remote students needs to, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing, I forgot my glasses. Teacher know if your remote student needs to be away from the lessons at any point in the day, okay? That's why it's very important for attendance.
Okay, so I am Mrs. Wall, and I am a third grade classroom teacher, and I'm going to just be talking briefly about our reading program. This is our second year using our Wonders Maravillas program. We are providing the students with anthologies. In the classroom, they have these. These are also available online as well, so the students learning remotely are able to access those at home. We also have our Reading Writing Companion, which is available for students in the classroom and at home, and it's also available online as well. So the students have been learning how to access that digitally recently as we receive some more computers. We do have our online component available to the students every day, and the students are able to access their assignments through this platform that you see in the presentation. There's a to-do section, there are books, there's a writing journal, there are games, and there are other stories that the students can access throughout the school year. So the next section that we're going to cover is our new iReady Math program, and Mrs. Henry is going to discuss that.
All right. Is everyone able to hear me? I'm having some serious technical issues today. So our Ready Math curriculum, it's a brand new curriculum for us this year. So we're all kind of learning it together. It does have online diagnostics if your students took the iReady reading comprehension last year. It's the same platform that they used for that. And what's great about that is they go on and it starts them at a grade 2 level, and it gives them different sets of questions. So once they answer a question correct, it will give them a little harder problem to solve. And if they get the question incorrect, it gives them a little bit easier question. This gives them their exact path of where they are actually at. So even if we're teaching a 3rd grade curriculum and maybe they're above level or a little bit below level, their path is really individualized to their specific learning. There are also games and lessons that us as teachers are able to specifically assign for them. If we're working on a rounding unit and they are struggling a little bit, we can specifically assign them some more rounding games or assignments to get them more practice with that. Another great thing about this new curriculum is that it's very MCAS aligned. The questions that we see in the workbooks and online, they model the MCAS very well. So the types of questions, the manipulatives that are online that they're able to use is very, very similar to what they'll see on the MCAS this year, which is on computers as well. This screen here shows us the background, the beginning screen when they click on math. Up at the very top, they do have math and reading this year for iReady. This is a math screen. At the bottom is their to-do list. If there's nothing specifically assigned to them, they always have their path to continuously work on. This button down at the bottom is the My Progress. They can click on that, and if they log in at home, you can also see how many lessons they're passing, how many they were assigned, and maybe how many they had to redo. The My Stuff button, they are able to click. They do earn certain coins. There's certain games they can play, and every now and then they are able to change their background. And then the final one is the learning games. So at any point, they are able to go on to their learning games and play some of those. The time that we expect them to be on during a week, if they're playing those learning games, their time doesn't actually count for that. So that's kind of like extra practice for them on top of what we normally have them doing. Again, this is just another screen. If you click on the My Progress button at the bottom of their screen, this is what you can see as a parent as well, how many minutes they've been on this week, how many lessons they've passed overall, and then how many lessons they've passed in a row. So if you can always check that at home as well. If your student is remote or an in-class person as well, you are able to check this information. And turning to another subject, Google Classroom is where most assignments and any information will be posted for your child. Again, this goes for remote or in-class students. Up at the top, the orange circle, the 3 lines, we call them the pancakes. Those 3 lines, if you click on them, will list out all of their classrooms. They will have classrooms for each special that they've been in. They will have, the nurse just created a Google Classroom. They have them for special education and for English language learners as well. They all have their own Google Classroom. So if they're trying to get into a particular class or find their assignments, that's where they would go to find their different classes. The red circle is a very important button. If they're looking for any of their work that is due or past due work, they can click on View Your Work. It'll show if it's assigned, if it was turned in, or if it's a missing assignment. The blue circle is their classwork. That's where they can go to see all the topics that are posted and all the individual assignments. And then the pink circle on the right, we call that the waffle. And when they click on that, that's how they can get to Google Classroom. So anytime you open up a new tab on Google, the waffle will pop up, and that will give you the option to go ahead and click on the icon to get into Google Classroom or to simply check their email. Those are great links for them to access all those apps very, very easily. And I will turn it over to Mrs. Pratt, who will go over, hopefully we have sound for our special area video.
Okay, so my video will explain this a little bit more, but there are 4 special areas for those of you that aren't familiar. I'm Mrs. Pratt, and I do technology and hopefully before the end of the year, library skills. Right now, we're not able to access the library because we don't want to be passing books between each other for fear of the coronavirus. So we're doing a lot of virtual reading in my classes, so don't worry. They're getting plenty of stories read to them. Mrs. Goodnow is still teaching music. Miss Jarvis is our new physical education teacher, and Miss Moon is our new art teacher. Specials look a little different this year because we didn't want to cross-contaminate, mixing too many cohorts. So instead, Mrs. Wilson decided that we would work 1 month at a time with the same 5 classes, and then we'll switch. So in September, I had a group of classes. In October, I had a different group of classes. I'll have another group for November and another group for December. And then in January, we'll start the cycle again. So your children may have had me in September, and I may not see them again till January, but having them for 1 month allowed me to put most of, or a good chunk of my curriculum together to give them the basics to get started. So if they're coming home and saying they haven't had technology or music in a very long time, I just wanted you to understand the why. I think the video's self-explanatory.
We may not have sound for this video either.
Specials look a little bit different. Every week, we've chunked the schedule for the protection of your students as well as the staff. So we're seeing 1 group of children each month. So each month we'll move to a new set of students. When you enter into the Google Meet, if you are a remote student, you come to Google Classroom. And there's a Google Meet link here on the top of every page. Click on that link and it will bring you to our meeting. In technology this year, it looks a little bit different because we're almost ready.
Mrs. Henry, I'll try to share this at the end of the presentation if that would be easier. I can pull it up on mine maybe.
Yeah, that would probably be great.
All right, I'll try to find it quickly now.
So we've explored San Diego Zoo, the Georgia Aquarium, and many other things. I'm going to pass you on to the music teacher, Mrs. Goodnow, to explain what she's been doing in class. Hello again. So you would join my class in the same way. I just want to say one quick thing. If you start,
Maybe we should stop this video and then try to share it at the end. Yeah, this one and the one from Mrs. Wilson. Yeah, so in a separate, maybe a separate tab so that so we can hear it better, because I think it's probably because it's embedded in the presentation, is my guess.
Hi, families. I'm Senora Vargas, and I teach Spanish in dual language. I'll be sharing with you a little bit of what happens besides every general education that your students might receive. We have special education services, and we know that some of our students do require some of these services to meet their needs. A special education teacher or an educational assistant works with each child in a manner that best suits their individual needs. Students may be supported in the classroom, in a small group, or through remote learning. So there's no way that they can stay without receiving everything that they need. Most importantly, the teacher and families work together to help our students achieve their greatest potential. And the same way that we make sure that our kids receive all their special education, we also have some of our kiddos that need English language learners, right? So they need something specific for them to succeed in their skills. And that is, if one of your student is designated as an English language learner, they receive language development services, both as part of their general education classroom and as a specialized pull-out group. The curriculum is part of our Wonders Reading program and includes ELL shared reads for each student. We also focus on studying the academic vocabulary and the ELL vocabulary for each unit. Students are graded in 4 areas: listening to stories, speaking in open discussion, reading word square to study vocabulary words, and writing, which means that their student journals are also used to help them grow in language. We know many of you will probably have a lot of questions, so feel free to write in the chat box so that we can get to everybody and be able to answer as many questions as you might have that are up to our knowledge. And those that are not, we will surely pass them along so that whoever can answer them will answer them.
If you feel comfortable to unmute yourself and just ask a question, you can feel free to do that if it's easier than typing it in the chat, but we will be sure to address as many questions as we can.
Well, while we're waiting, I also want to give an opportunity to our Vice Principal, Caitlin Jacobs, to at least say hi to everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and our incredible third grade team. Like Ms. Vargas had mentioned, my name is Caitlin Jacobs, and I'm the new assistant principal here at West. If I have not met you in person, I look forward to doing that shortly. If I have, I'm glad to see you again. As Ms. Vargas mentioned, feel free to let us know any questions that you have. Again, if our third grade team is not able to answer it, they will definitely forward it to myself and Mrs. Wilson, and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. But as Ms. Vargas mentioned, we will do our best to answer every question that you guys have. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Okay, I see a question in the chat. It says, how are social needs being met? With students building relationships for a month with a teacher and then not seeing them for another 2 to 3, there doesn't seem to be consistency. I understand the COVID regulations, but that's concerning to me. Well, I'm going to put you at ease and letting you know that all our teachers are always available to say hi and build relationships with all of our students as best as we can, given the circumstances under which we have to teach. I am pretty sure that Ms. Jacobs is probably able to give us a little bit more insight into this.
Absolutely. I completely agree, Ms. Vargas. So as Ms. Vargas mentioned, first and foremost, we are here to make sure everyone is feeling safe and secure at school. So academics are 100% a priority, but we also want to make sure that everyone is building those connections at school. And that is one of our school-wide goals for this year. So a school-wide goal is to increase student engagement and to increase those relationships. So although we are 6 feet apart, we are still engaging in morning meeting where students get to interact with one another, both in person and remote. We still have opportunities for them to interact during lunchtime, during recess time, as well as engage in academic conversations during the content part of the day. If you wouldn't mind, could you give me a little bit more information about what you mean by not seeing them for another 2 to 3? What do you mean by that?
Ms. Jacobs, I think it's probably in reference to the special areas because I did mention that we're seeing them 1 month at a time.
Understood. I gotcha. I apologize. I was not here for that part of the meeting. Absolutely. The special areas teachers additionally have some free blocks in their schedule in which time they're pushing into classrooms to support classrooms as well as continue to build those relationships.
I can actually jump in on that as well. For example, in my classroom, for the past couple of weeks, we've had our art teacher. My specific class actually hasn't had art as their special yet. So they are seeing Miss Moon already in the classroom, kind of helping out with the different students. And it kind of almost puts her in a different role as well as kind of a helper in the classroom. So they are seeing those special area teachers as well. Like we had music the first month of school, and now Miss Goodnow comes and she does lunch with them. So she spends their lunch block with them as well. So even though they're not getting the music instruction or the art instruction for that particular time, they are seeing those special area teachers throughout different duties, or like Ms. Jacob was saying, jumping into different classrooms and helping out during that time. So they definitely are seeing their faces even more frequently than would be expected as far as every 2 to 3 months, but maybe not necessarily in that art setting, or it's now art class and the art teacher's here. She's has a different role sometimes when she comes into our classroom.
Could I please jump in and ask Ms. Vargas if she could ask if anyone needs translations for responses to the questions.
Seguro. Buenas tardes, familia. Le habla la señora Vargas. Con mucho gusto nosotros estamos dispuestos a contestarle cualquier pregunta que usted tenga. Específicamente queremos dejarles saber que aunque los maestros de educación de especiales, lo que es arte, música, tecnología, cada uno de esos maestros está dando la vuelta, ¿verdad?, por los salones de un mes a la vez, pero no significa que no tienen contacto con los niños, sino que entran en otra rama de su profesión. Si alguien tiene alguna pregunta, con mucho gusto le contestamos.
Ms. Henry, I did pull up the video for special areas if you want me to try to present.
Yeah, that'd be great. We can give it a try. Should I stop sharing? Do I have to stop presenting mine?
I believe so.
Okay.
Oop, wrong one. So, sorry.
Mi duda es el horario. Okay. While you're doing that, I have a couple of questions, specifically one in Spanish. Mi duda es los horarios, me confundo por los de educación especial. ¿A qué se refiere, Miss Malaves? I have a parent who's a little confused with the schedule, specifically with special education. Adelante, dígame.
Ok, es la duda de que los horarios normales que ella tiene, más están los de educación especial o algunos especiales que tienen, que interfieren con los otros. No sé, yo me confundo en eso y estoy fallando en eso.
Ok, bueno, primero que nada, la prioridad siempre del estudiante es su salón hogar y sus salones recursos con relación a los servicios que recibe de educación especial. Sí va a haber un conflicto de vez en cuando. ¿Por qué? Porque ellos se interrumpe su labor regular y entran a un salón de educación especial. Lo más conveniente que yo le puedo sugerir es que haga un escrito, ¿verdad? Haga un escrito para usted de qué día y qué horas son los momentos que ella va a tener con esa maestra. Porque sí, sabemos que van a salir de su salón de clase y eso también ocurre en el salón con nosotros, ¿ok?
Sí, cuando están presentes.
Sí, cualquier cosita que se le haga muy difícil, siempre hágale el acercamiento a la maestra. Siempre los maestros están dispuestos a ayudar a que pueda cumplir con ese horario de especial.
Duda de los nombres de los maestros por cada matemática, ¿entiendes? De cada
¿Con qué maestra está en salón hogar?
salón hogar con Mrs. Ward.
Ok. Los maestros de Mrs. Wall, Miss Wall, who's your specials teacher?
For specials, we currently have music.
Ok. En su clase de especiales en relación a música, que es lo que ella está cogiendo ahora mismo, es Miss Goodnow. ¿Y tiene los nombres de los servicios de educación especial?
No.
Okay, she's also asking for the teachers for special ed. Who's the teacher that her daughter is supposed to be with?
That would be me.
Okay, esta sería Miss Sergio.
So she would go on to my class at 8:55 to
A
do
las
her-
8:55.
A ver, me estoy yendo a eso.
Okay, she's a little worried because there is so much change in the schedule for her because of her services that she wants to make sure that she gets to everybody. And she wanted to know how she can keep up with that. So Miss Wall, I told her to make a list of what she needs, but I'm pretty sure you can probably help her out with that in sending a schedule home of what days she has special education with Miss Sergio so she doesn't miss out. That would greatly help her out.
Absolutely, we can definitely do that. Thank you for expressing that concern.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. No se le olvide que se van a comunicar con usted. Gracias por dejárnoslo saber. There's another question, I'm sorry. It says, I might have missed it. Should parents or students check Google Classroom every day if they are in person? I haven't had contact with special education or specials And it sounds like that might affect way of contact instead of Class Dojo. If I may, and I think this is what we've been doing in class, Google Classroom is really for our parents who are remote. Those students who are in person are really getting their services daily or however it is that they are scheduled. And teachers in the classroom, when kids have been pulled out for anything, have the list already. If you still want that information, you can communicate through Class Dojo with your teacher, and I'm pretty sure she can give you all the information you need. Ms. Fernandez, whose student is that? Ms. McDowell?
No, it's my student, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Murray.
Yeah.
So if you communicate with your teacher, I'm pretty sure she can give you any information you want in that regards.
Definitely.
And can I just piggyback on that?
Of course.
Any students who are receiving special education services, feel free to email me, Mrs. Sergel. It's dsergel@southbridgepublic.org. With any questions or concerns, I'd love to put your mind at ease if you have any concerns. You could contact me through thank you, Mrs. Henry. You could contact me through the homeroom teacher or directly via email or by phone.
Si tiene algún estudiante de educación especial, siéntase en la libertad de comunicarse con ella a través de su correo electrónico, que con mucho gusto ella le va a contestar. Ms. Pratt, I think we are ready.
I will attempt again. Welcome, West Street Wildcat families. I'm Mrs. Pratt and I teach technology and library skills.
Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Goodnow. I teach music. Hi, I'm Miss J or Miss Jarvis and I teach PE and health. Hi, I'm Miss Moon and I'm the art teacher. Families, as you probably noticed this year, specials look a little bit different. Instead of seeing all students every week, we've chunked the schedule for the protection of your students as well as the staff. So we're seeing one group of children each month. So each month we will move to a new set of students. When you enter into the Google Meet, if you are a remote student, you come to Google Classroom. And there's a Google Meet link here on the top of every page. You click on that link and it will bring you to our meeting. In technology this year it looks a little bit different because we're almost ready to get all of our students a Chromebook. But until then, we've had to be a little creative. So we've done a lot with digital citizenship and learning how to be safe on the internet, and we've taken some fun virtual field trips. So we've explored the San Diego Zoo, the Georgia Aquarium, and many other things. I'm going to pass you on to the music teacher, Mrs. Goodnow, to explain what she's been doing in class. Hello again. So you would join my class in the same way. I just want to say one quick thing. If you start or try to join in a little too early, you're not going to see the link right away. You might say there is no link there. That's because I put it up as soon as I enter the classroom. So if it's not there yet, it will appear. And you would still click the same thing to join my meet. Now, what we're doing in music class this year is we have this special program called the Flavor Music. And it's a very fun program. The kids are enjoying it so much. There are so many different activities. They're learning about music in a fun way. There are games and activities. Eventually, everyone is going to be getting their own student account. And so they'll be able to go in to Quaver themselves and do different activities and play different games. If you've already had music, you can talk about the Quaver file. Know what it is. Hi, so for PE and health, at the beginning of the year we have nice weather, so we're encouraging students to get outside and do their physical activity outside. So for the in-class students, I'm bringing them outside, so it's difficult for me to be live with the students that are doing virtual school. So for virtual PE right now, you're going to be responsible for doing your physical activity at home, and you're going to use this sort of map where it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you just kind of go down the columns to do your physical activity. You have a warm-up, an open home activity, and it's really important if you keep scrolling on this, there's an activity log that you need to fill out every day, and then you submit it on Friday so that I know what physical activity you guys did at home. Eventually, I'll be live with you when we use the gym in the colder weather. That's all.
So you join art class the same way you join technology and music. You join my Google Meet, and you make art with me as a class. I have some examples of art that students have made this year. Students have been doing a great job making art. If you want to scroll down to the first picture. These are collages. This is an example of a collage that students made inspired by Henri Matisse. Students also designed castles and showed the texture on castles in third grade. In fourth grade, students made one-point perspective skyscrapers. We talked about how to show that things are getting farther away, or show that things look like they're farther away in a picture. And students in fifth grade and fourth grade also studied the human skeleton and showed bones and thought of different ways to show them with shapes. So students have been doing a great job making art in class, and I am excited to see what they make next. I hope that was helpful to give you a better understanding of what specials look like this year. Thank you.
Thank you. That worked much better. If there are any other questions now about specials or how getting into a meet or anything like that, please feel free to type it in the chat and we'll be sure to answer it the best we can.
I don't exactly how to get the chat to go on, so.
Oh. You can talk. You can ask us that. You can ask us now. That's okay.
Okay. Because pretty much everybody is having issues with their connections. Pretty much, how is that going to interfere with, like, the grading and stuff? Like, if things do get booted off or not uploaded in time and stuff like that because of lost connection.
So we do. I had that problem happen to me about 3 times during a lesson today. We just connect right back on. The students are really good about if they can't hear, they'll log out and then they'll log back in to just see if they need kind of a refresh on their computer. Most of their assignments are uploaded through Google Classroom if they are remote students. So that happens, you know, if an assignment isn't posted, then we're not going to expect them to complete it. If it's a connection problem at home, just reach out to any of the teachers and let us know what's going on. It happens to us every day here at school, so we know it happens to you at home. Just let us know so that we know, okay, maybe it'll be a day late or they'll finish it over the weekend. Communication is key really in anything. As long as you're letting us know that it's not just like missing work or it's just something that they're not doing, as long as you're communicating with any of the teachers, whether it's ELL services, special ed, their classroom teacher, special area teachers, just let us know if there's something that's going on that's kind of, you know, deferring their work or anything like that. But it's happened, and it is something that honestly, just in this day and age, we kind of just have to work around and be flexible with. And I think I can speak fully for my team that we all will do our best to accommodate what we can. And like I said, as soon as we log off of a meet or we get kicked out or a student gets kicked out, you know, about 3 seconds later, we're right back in that. And, you know, we've had some instances that we've had fire drills and we just ask the students to all sign out. And the expectation is that if there's a teacher is not there with them, that they would be logged out as well. Our links are also set up that they shouldn't be allowed to join a Google Meet unless a teacher is there as well. So if we were having issues, they wouldn't actually be able to connect unless the teacher was there connected first.
Okay. Now, if they have the their little passes, and I've explained this to his teacher as well. He still has art. How's that going to affect if it logs you off every time you go to get out? and you have to like log back in, and it's resetting itself. And if you're not quick enough, it will start you back at the beginning if you're not quick enough to put your login.
Can you, I don't know if anybody else can answer, is it a particular program, or it's just their Chromebook in general, or?
Yes, it's as soon as you go to log in the mornings or anytime, it takes a while to get on, because if you're not quick enough to put in the pass, the student's name and email and stuff, and then the passcode, it will reset you at the beginning and have you start all over again.
Now, does he have the QR code to scan?
No, we've been having the issue with that of his is not scanning. So I've been having to get in manually to put his in. And if you're not quick enough to put it in, it restarts you from the beginning and you have to start all over again.
So I know whoever, I don't know who your homeroom teacher is, but I know that there is a way that I did it for one of my students last year. We can actually send the QR code to you, like through Class Dojo, and then it will be on your phone. So you can actually put your phone in front of the camera and it'll help him log in as well. So it might just be, maybe it's just the way it was printed that day or something, but we can send it electronically to you where you can hold it up with the phone up against the camera, and that should be able to work as well. I don't know if anybody else has any insight. I haven't heard this before, so I'm not a super technology person.
I haven't heard this before, but what I did want to say, as I know, like there's a concern with when students do work, and that maybe that work would be lost, or they have to start again. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, I think my team will probably, say this as well. A lot of times when students think they might have lost their work, it's there. We find it. There's a lot of different ways that students can submit work, and some students don't even know how to submit the work. They're not sure enough how to submit it. But most of our platforms that we're using, like Wonders and iReady, and even things that they send through email, Google Docs, we're able to access those. So even students, they'll often reach out to me and say, "Did you get this? Is it there?" Mm-hmm. And more times than not, it is there. It just might not be in the place where it's supposed to be, but it's just maybe wasn't sent the way it was supposed to be sent. But most of our platforms are self-saving, so the work is there and we can access it. So don't worry too much about that. But like Mrs. Henry said, I think we're all being really flexible. We're asking you to be patient with us while we, navigate this new world that we're in, trying to teach remotely and through a lot of technology. And the same goes for our parents and students at home. We're having patience with you too. So I think all of us we're all just working together to try to, help each other. So please don't worry about that.
Yeah, I also think that for the technology aspect, there is an email address that you might be able to contact. And I'm sorry, I don't know it by heart, but there is an email address that you can reach out to if you're having trouble with the badge and with.
I think it's on the district's website, Mrs. Wall. I think it might. Yeah, right. I think it's a technology help desk. Reach out in either a number or email that you can.
Yep, Mrs. Henry just placed the email address in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, there may be a specific one for technology, but the help desk will absolutely forward it to where it belongs.
Ms. Vargas, would you mind translating a little snapshot of what we discussed, please? I'm sorry. Even if it's just about the online component, if they get kicked off and what to do.
Bueno, entre todas las cosas que se discutieron ahora mismo, la más importante es que usted sepa, ¿verdad?, que todas las plataformas que nosotros estamos utilizando de educación tienen la habilidad de usted poder mantener una grabación de lo que realizó. Si el estudiante tiene algo que realizó dentro de Google Docs o Google Sheets, todo eso automáticamente es grabado. Dentro de lo que es la plataforma de iReady, que tanto es de lectura como de matemática, también los trabajos que realizan los estudiantes se graban. Maravillas, aunque nosotros, ¿verdad? Hace mucho que no trabajamos tan activamente con el electrónico, también guarda mucho de lo que el estudiante hizo. Y lo más importante de todas las cosas es que usted mantenga una comunicación activa con sus maestros, sea uno, sea dos o sean todos, porque todos estamos aquí para que se le haga mucho más fácil a usted como al estudiante, ¿verdad? Y si necesita algún tipo de ayuda, recuerde que siempre puede llamar los números que están en el área de comunicación escrita de ayuda a la tecnología. Tiene acceso a través de teléfono, a través de un chat inmediato que ocurre en vivo con usted, un correo electrónico y si hablan español, que es una de las partes, ¿verdad?, que a veces nos preocupa. Cualquier cosa, recuerde que este equipo de tercer grado siempre está disponible para poder ayudarle a usted y a los estudiantes a ser efectivos y sean exitosos en este año escolar.
Thank you, Ms. Vargas.
You're welcome.
I was wondering if Ms. Vicino would like to introduce herself. I know that a lot of you don't know her yet.
Hi, I'm Miss Vicino. I'm the nurse. This is my first year as a school nurse. Before this, I worked in a pediatric office, so I do have some experience with kids. And if you have any questions, health-wise, or any other questions, you can always call me, email me, any way you want to talk to me.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? You may feel free to unmute or type them in the chat box.
Mrs. Wilson. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bella.
How do you write in the chat? Because my grandma's trying to figure it out.
Well, that's because you guys are like insisting that I do both the videos at the same time, one on the computer and one on my phone. Kind of hard to hear what's going on.
We're looking at that, but what we're saying right here that we don't see that. All we see is like.
How about we take advantage that you're already off mute and Grandma can go ahead and ask her question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What was your question, Bella?
That.
How to write? How do I write in? How?
You got my brother laughing. Hi.
All right, be careful.
So the chat box button is at the top of your screen. Okay, it's at the top of your screen, and you just click on that little picture of this, and the chat box will open up for you.
Is there a way from a phone? It might look a little bit different. Okay, we do have something else in the chat. What instances do you send a child home? One major symptom or two minor? A student I know got sent home for coughing with no other symptoms and just wanted to clarify. Every school seems to be a little bit different. Ms. Vicino, since you are here, do you mind taking that? I would feel totally comfortable with you sharing that answer.
Not at all. So based off of what the CDC and the Department of Ed says, there are certain like major symptoms that we would send a child home for. So that consists of a fever, sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea, cough, if it's not known to have another cause like asthma or chronic cough. And in those cases, we usually have a like mark in their chart that says that they have one of those things. Also, if they have like a headache, but that has to be consistent with another one of those symptoms. Stuffy nose too, but that also has to go along with another symptom. But those are the major symptoms that we would send a child home.
Thank you. I'm so glad you were able to answer that. So again, anything else, feel free to type it in the chat. If you feel comfortable unmuting and asking us, definitely feel free.
I also want to add that that might change. That information may change because it's been changing kind of weekly sometimes. So as of right now, that is why we send children home.
Ms. Facina, I'd say that's the world of COVID that we're all trying to navigate and learn. I just want to take a moment and thank the staff. You have done an outstanding job. I am incredibly proud of this team and my entire team. Parents, you are really lucky to have these people on your team. They love your kids like no tomorrow, and they've really done a great job. So I want to thank you all. Staff, feel free to leave as soon as you're done. Have a wonderful night, all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we'll hang on for a little bit if anybody else wants to unmute. If you don't have any other questions and you need to go make dinner, feel free to sign off if you have nothing further that you need to know. The presentation is done. Like I said, we will all hang on for a few minutes longer until everyone leaves. So if you want to stay on for another question, we'll be here. But if you don't have any other questions, I feel like I'm like letting you go. You're free to go. And we look forward to seeing all your students tomorrow.
Gage's mom, did we answer your questions for you? Are you all set now?
We're all set. We're going to have a good night. You two have a good night.
Oh, you too, Gage. I'll see you tomorrow
Bye,
morning.
Miss Pratt. Have a good night.
I'm glad you're all set.
Other people.
Thanks.
Bye.
And Miss Morin.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye. Oh, that's a very good question. So I will speak on behalf of the dual language program because I know that Emily is with us. We have been starting to send home the spelling list for their weekly spelling test that they will be getting, which right now it's alternating between Spanish and English. So she should have gotten her spelling words for the beginning of this week. For her test that's tomorrow. We are still compiling kind of some homework for them to do. Again, it's not something that we can have them bring back to school or collect back in the classroom, but it's kind of just activities for them to practice their spelling words or their vocabulary words at home. But it's nothing that we would have them bring back into the classroom. We're just trying to eliminate the passing of papers back and forth. Even within the classroom, we're trying to minimize that as well. But absolutely, I know that she has connected to Google Classroom from home as well. So if there is technology available at home, she is more than welcome to go on to Wonders or Maravillas and have all of there's games on there, there's grammar games, there's spelling and vocabulary games that they can do for practice as well. And that's available to them whether they're in person or remote as well. Any other questions for Emily? The links, all she would have to do is she would need just her email and her lunch ID number. We can actually send her with a Clever badge that she can take home. So if the laptop that she's using has a webcam, all she has to do is actually scan that QR code. I will actually have one right here that I can show you. So it just literally looks like this. They would put it in front of their computer screen and that'll log them right into Clever. That gets them direct access. That's the only login that they'll need And then once they click on Wonders or Maravillas, even iReady, it will log them in automatically. So they won't have to worry about multiple username or passwords. So we can definitely send one of these home for her as well. Awesome. Look at you. Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you for joining.
That helps.
You're on mute.
I'm on.
Nope, she unmuted.
Unmuted.
Why'd you say I was muted? Isn't that what you said?
No, you were unmuted. You're unmuted right now.
You're silly. So Bella should take advantage of them sites too, right?
Yes, she absolutely has the same access as well. Yep.
Yay.
Yep. iReady Reading, iReady Math, Wonders.
Is the computer
Maravillas,
right in
all
front
that.
of us? The computer right in front of us?
Computer in front of you? That?
You're very lucky to have that at home.
Emily likes to hog the computer.
Yeah.
She keeps going. She goes on Prodigy and she goes on.
Can I play ABC? Yeah.
To do.
I mean, not ABC. Yeah. ABC Mouse. Yeah.
Any other questions you have, Bella?
No.
So even fourth graders should study for spelling tests, right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
should have them every Friday as well.
So where's your words?
I don't have any words.
Well, you must have had words because you brought her home a 20.
Yeah, I got an F. It definitely won't be my first F. Well, I mean, it is my first F for like a
it's
year.
going to be your last F, right? Because you're going to study.
Maybe.
Come
Yes.
on. Listen. You just we make flashcards and we can take and show each other them, and we can all do them, and we can do words for Corey and he'll think it's a game, and we'll all learn. We'll all learn.
You're
something.
saying that out loud, and Corey's like literally
That's
in the
okay.
kitchen.
That's okay, because he can learn.
Yeah.
If
Great.
we all
Thank
help
you
each
all
other.
so much for joining us. I think our meeting is concluding now. We're going to sign off. I really appreciate all of your time, and I'm so glad that you made it to our virtual open house.
Thank you. It was kind of hard doing two of them at the same time.
I believe it. Yes.
They both the girls wanted me on at the same time.
Mm-hmm. We were thinking
I mean,
about that.
They were both at 5 o'clock, so I mean, we had
Yeah.
no choice. Did you guys see how cute my baby brother was?
What about your baby sister?
Yeah.
Them both.
Anita's cute.
They're
She's
both
not as cute as Jackson. That's not nice.
Yes.
JK.
You're all cute.
Anita's like.
Well, have a good night.
Really cute.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Can I play ABC Mouse?